Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna go bring you some more Cos Monarchy, and we got Jakulangski taking on Fenris, and I feel like this is gonna be a cool match because it's Askosi, not Jack's typical trade, versus some Terran. And I actually don't even really remember what Fenris liked to play back when he was a bit more active, but he's kind of been playing all the races, and I respect the hell out of that one. So it will be Jakulangski in the top right. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys this is gonna be a tough color for me to guess. I'll say smoky black. Ah, it was umber. I never would have guessed that, dude. What even? I didn't even remember we had umber as a color. And Fenris in the bottom left. This is actually snow Terran. For a second, I was going to go into a diatribe about how this is a really hard color to guess as well. But actually, it was okay. It was all good. It'll be bio open for Fenris. Normally going mech here in the meta. But I don't expect this game will typically be typical at all. I don't think we're going to get too much meta from this one. It's radix function here for Jack. And actually, the last time I remember seeing him play Askosi, which I think was a match against Jimmy on Macroglia. Yeah, that was a while ago. Jimmy doesn't play anymore. RIP. But hope he's doing well. Yeah, it was the similar kind of build order where he went radix function. So we'll see what's up. This was on the 4th of July? Let me double check the date of this match. Actually, the 5th of July. Okay, so definitely had some fun time there, for sure. And I want to see what's up with the overall tenor of this match. I want to see if we get a little bit of fun action here between these two players, because I think this is a game that I read something about in chat and then went and downloaded. And it wasn't like a spoiler. I don't actually know who wins. But you know, I guess like if Fenris has been playing a little bit more frequently lately, and I know he's been watching a lot of games as well, a lot of the tournaments and whatnot. So it kind of makes sense to me that he might be up on it in the sense of like, oh, okay, I kind of know the meta maybe a little bit. And Jack is playing his new race. I have no idea if he knows what's up with Askosi either. So I know he's been watching stuff. He's going for the proselytes. So definitely trying to go a little bit more aggro. And hey, tell me if I'm crazy or not, but doesn't it look kind of sick, this color comp? The Umber Askosi, it does look pretty good, actually. Maybe it makes them a little too Y2K in terms of their graphical fidelity, but graphical fidelity will improve as the game improves. We'll get some mystical man who actually wants to play the Blender a lot, and that'll be how we handle that business. Now, Missionary takes some damage. Proselyte can try to heal him up a little bit, but no big deal, and it looks like that will actually abate whatever the plans were for Jakulangski. He's going to go for his Chantry. Oh, actually, I like the idea of a run-by here, but it's so far back, I feel like it's going to take some time before Fenris is going to be up against it. And, you know, typically when you're up against Askosi and they go a little quiet, you should be worried a little bit about a Chantry-fueled run-by. I mean, if you think about the Chantry and what it allows for you, too, imagine on this map in particular. So, okay, when you're up against Askosi, think about it like, are there Reaper jump-up cliffs into my base in Starcraft 2? That's what you got to think about. So the Askosi can send most of their army here. A Proselyte can be cloaked up into this position, plant the islet, and then pull the army over. And that can happen, and you can do that with a couple of different, you know, if you're pulling other proselytes, you can go ahead and drop that a few more times and pull the army. Yeah, it'll force your units to decloak, because teleporting them does do that, but it's still going to get most of your army over here into the base, away from the defense. So if there's no detection here, that can be a huge issue for the player who's playing against the Askosi, and so that's why I'm kind of thinking about it from the perspective of like, okay, if you're up against the Askosi, beware. Prepare yourself for an inevitable outcome of cloaked units running into your base in some way, shape, or form. I don't think Jack's going to give us that tech, but that would be so beautiful if it happened. Ministry coming. We've got Fulcrums for Cyclops, a Vestry as well very quickly, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Shaman in our future. And, well, I mean, we definitely would need that for detection here, but Fenris is going to be caught a little bit slipping here. Surely he sees all the shimmering, right? Like, at what point do you say, oh, my enemy is walking into my base and I need to defend it? Obviously, the object is going to be very, very helpful here. A drill onto these units would be really nice. Is Fenris actually going to sit and fight it? Doesn't look like the answer is yes, as, of course, that object is immediately grounded. Finally, it will go down surely. No, yes, indeed it does. But it looks like most of the splash damage has been avoided. Fenris down by 3 workers, but he can come back to that pretty soon. His Ministry has continued its progress unabated this entire time. And so it looks to me like we are A-okay. But yeah, obviously a little bit of economic damage, but he traded his entire army for that. So Jack is maybe a little bit further behind than he would like to be. Has some Vicars out as his gauntlet was indeed finished during the entire time that was happening. And a Dyad is coming thanks to that structure. Acestus here in the natural makes a lot of sense. And there is the one, 2 clerics actually, looking pretty slick there. as they head on their way over. It looks like they've already patched up the Masons, so very nice. Some of the army units can use that as well. Where is the dyad going? And why is it rallied? What's happening here? What's going on? Somebody tell me what's happening. Cypher coming for Tier 2 access. Jakulangski is going to be Cloak Dyad building grandstands or something? I don't know. I have no idea. No clue. Not at all something I would expect. But maybe he's going to show us some tech. Oh! I wonder if he's trying to get it in there and then he's going to try to deconstruct something. Like he could try going after the add-on. I really do. I mean, Cestus got him anyways. That didn't really help. But I sat there wondering for so long what he was planning on doing. And then he just died to detection and I realized, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I spent that whole time waxing philosophical about, like, you really want to have detection versus Askosi in the early game so you can defend against things like this. And then, well, Fenris did it because he knows the game and he knows what's up. And so, yeah, we'll never know. Jack may comment what he was going to do, but he'll probably just be like, I was going to recycle my cat into oil and eat it or something. You know, I don't know, dude. Whatever Jakulangski comments. I am not the right humanoid subspecies of cybernetic alien to properly understand what Jakulangski is even all about. He did remake a dyad, and he's going to make another landlock, and his army is moving into position against Fenris. And this is actually kind of Paper Tiger style. It's a lot of objects, but there's almost no damage to this army. The Cleric Cyclops Cyprian, it's a weird combination of units there with the Shaman especially. Yeah, you can just walk out and fight this, especially with the Shaman being able to deploy so you can actually shoot the enemy. Yeah, that's gonna matter a whole lot. Looks like that one missionary ended up going for an attack. The Vicars try to pull the objects back, and this is going to go very poorly. 4-hour Askosi player. They just can't break the healing and the Shaman. There's a real potential there for that fight to have gone even worse for the Askosi in a full wipe. And so Jack does exercise some caution and temperance as he retreats. His prosceniums for Tier 2 are on the way. That's where you can get some of your serious damage dealers. A lot of proselytes being added to the picture here. I wonder what for. Jack adding more pilgrims now. Definitely needs to stay in lockstep with the production of his opponent. Also, Fenris has got some queuing going on, particularly, you know, you see multiple Goliaths being queued. That's a lot of money that's tied up in those. He can definitely throw down more structures. Though, in fairness, again, this match was played some days ago now, and I'm only getting to it, the recording of it a few days after, you know, so I gotta tip my hat to him and say, well, maybe he's improved since then. But, you know, these are just things I like to point out, because maybe you see yourself in these players when you're playing, or maybe you want to see yourself on these casts. Well, in that case, better play some 1v1s, dude. Or you can also join us for, like, 2v2s versus AI and team games and stuff like that. We have all kinds of stuff going on our Discord or Fluxer servers. I've bridged the two, so if you join Fluxer, you will get access to the Discord community as well by virtue of them typing and the messages being relayed over to you guys. So there is that as well. But yeah, hop in. There's links in the description and all that. On our website as well, cosmonarchy.com. Gonna load in a couple missionaries into the 10 sender. Jakulangski trying to take matters into his own hands here for the middle of the map. And he's going to rotate over to the third base where there is a treasury being made on location. There should be an easy pop in favor of our Askosi. Force the cancel, and then see if you can get the hell out of Dodge. But Jack is not minding his army right now. He's too busy spending all of his APM on his base. One Aphorist is here. Eventually it will be torn through by this small pocket of Terran. And with that object down, the rest of the army could really easily go tits up here. You got to watch out for that. The Mason does get focused, so there won't be an easy way to reset that treasury. But yeah, the whole Askosi army going down again is kind of a problem. The Scepter arrives, but I don't think it's going to go very far. Maybe some Cyclops friendly splash will help out. That's kind of all I can say about that situation. So Tier 2 has begun for Fenris as he chases the Scepter back down. One more shot on the Cyclops, and that's a goner. Get him. Get him! Yeah, now he's frozen. 10 center in the middle of the map, unfortunately for the Terran, is going to have to be claimed. But Aphorist Mimic is going to be pretty legit. You do want to watch out for that. We got some Doran incoming because the Bestiary is done. Can't believe how many people gave me shit over the pronunciation of Bestiary. Guys, it doesn't have an E in it, or it doesn't have an A in it. It's Bestiary. Look it up, guys. Come on. Just use DuckDuckGo is right there. Or insert your favorite web search service. Lodestone coming for detection and a garrison. as the treasury gets partially repaired. Of course, it's very snipeable, but you don't need to tell that to Askosi. Their structures are very brittle indeed. We're going to get a lot more Askosi units coming now that the prosceniums are done. And Dyad's adding more of them as time goes on. Vultures coming down here now. I like the idea of a late-game Vulture ad or mid-game Vulture ad here, as Tier 2 is already done, so it's safe to call this mid-game. Captaincies will come out. I love it. But Vultures coming in at any point where you have spare Fulcrum, I feel like you can lay a lot of lobotomy mines around, and that is a problem for the enemy to deal with. Now, obviously, the Askosi have it a little bit different with their cloaking, but not all of their army is going to be cloaked. So, definitely factor that into the swing of things. The Doranin is going to be a dangerous run-by candidate, but you know, you look at this Lodestone, Cestus, there's choke points here, or even a deployed Shaman at that ramp, so it's going to be actually kind of hard for the Doranin to get much value here. No third base really heavily saturated yet for Jack. He's going to send down some more Pilgrims soon, I'm sure, but he's not making any right now. Instead, it's a second conduit? Okay, Jack, whatever you say, man. And the Doranin actually does sneak in through the lower path, so he's going to start getting some value here against the Masons. They're going to need to pull away. Which, by the way, this base was pretty lowly saturated anyway. 6 worker kills is significant, but not a whole lot there on either the main or the natural here. And Fenris is still floating money anyway. We might be going to Tier 3 here pretty soon. Down the Doranin will go. This is going to trigger a little bit of an attack. Oh no, it's just more units rallying forward here for the run-bys, the Doranin run-by. That one Sentinel doing a ton of work, though. And the Cestus, of course, adding more power to it, and then even that. Is that the same? No, okay, he didn't lift the Cestus earlier. We just made a new one. Well, all of the front line has been used for run-bys, and that is a potential problem for Jack, as he's kind of reduced to just Aphorists right now. Not a lot of spread for our Terran army, and he does want to spread versus Aphorists especially. They are quite heavy crowd control beasts, but as you can see, they go down pretty easy if they stand and fight, or if they flail around trying to retreat as well. That also will do it. I think some units were coming towards the fight, and other units were trying to run away, and that created a traffic jam. I can't believe he's making a second conduit, dude. He's already got one over here. Oh, Jack. If he loses this game, I'm going to blame it on that, even if it had nothing to do with that. Also, if he wins this game, I'm going to blame it on that, too. How about that? Autocrat, a humongous amount of queues instead of building more production. Just try to spend down the money. A Palladium comes out. I feel like phalanxes are an interesting thing to add in at this point, right? And more Cleric Cyprian being made. With 3 o'clock coming online for Jack soon, we will be getting up to the Geyser Ridge combo, which is very nice. Oh, by the way, this game is being cast right now. I'm recording this just after I saw Hit 'em Up practice some Askosi versus Terran against Newt. 2 decently long games, so if you want to see those cast, let me know. Drop a comment. If you want to see some higher level of this exact matchup, see what the difference is there. I feel like that could be very fun. Astrolabes for Tier 2 air coming, and pretty big masses as well. And of course, this is without any dyads, so interesting choice there. I guess one thing he can do is he can use dyads to salvage one of the conduits for more money, so maybe he can try to make matters a little bit better for him there. A dyad on the front line. Is he going to salvage something? No, he's not. He's trying. He tried to for a second. You could see the overlay, but not quite working. Apostles have arrived to reclaim some of those Doranin. Very nice. Autocrats as well, helping out. Oh no, more units just on the rally. I'm kind of surprised we don't have a star pad for like more mobile detection than the Shaman that need to be deployed. There it is. The Scepter has turned coat. Clerics will try to dive onto it immediately. Yeah, and this Doranin is unlikely to get much done here. Hey, look, he stole a Pilgrim. Jack, why'd you bring a Pilgrim with your army, dude? Now he can make Askosi units. Well, you heard it here first, folks. A couple Sentinels will shut down those kinds of pushes. I guess in a roundabout way, this is a preview of one of our upcoming Throne Room matches. Maybe I should release it for our Friday game, just so that everybody has a little something. It's probably teaching you a lot of the wrong lessons, though. Paracletes have come. These units are able to remote hijack key targets, but you actually need to have the unit like stick around for a while. I don't know. I don't think they're going to be very good into this composition, but we'll find out. I feel like they're going to come up and be a little anemic He's going to try to focus down the Autocraft, which is a good target for sure. Dornan running forward as well. Maybe he's going to steal back his own Askosi units. That could be a fun one that steals back his Dornan. Reclaimed hijack Dornan. And yeah, he ends up sending some Oxenes out, but I don't think they're actually going to hijack much of anything. He stole a Maverick. That's about it. You can also select the Oxene and hijack with them manually, but... Reclaimed Oxene! Oh god! You've given hijack over to the Terran army. This is spooky and scary. And there's probably some skeletons involved, and I mean the ranged backline here, Fenris didn't even have to like, yeah, he really didn't even have to deploy the phalanxes or anything. Look at the Paraclete count. He's not just he should just attack with them, but he's actually, well, I guess he's sort of doing that. Yeah, nice Paraclete, buddy. It's mine now. It's mine. All right, well, insurance are coming, and that is going to change the fate of this game. I have a fear. I have a fear that Jack is just going to be like, all right, I finally made the good unit. Goodbye. Oh, he tried to make a landlock with his Pilgrim, but I don't know where his Pilgrim went. Did it die? It died? Okay. It died. Sorry, guys. No reclaimed units yet. Trying to use those Oxenes to scout out a little bit. They just get given over. It's really funny. Adding an abutment to the geyser inside that inner 12, shall we call it. Yeah, some expansions being taken. A lot of idle workers here at the 3 o'clock position as the obelisks come out. Okay. Well, don't say I didn't tell you so. You know, this is going to be Endbor time, almost assuredly. I guess that's a Paraclete would be really good against the Endbor in theory. But again, you have to kill the Oxene before it... You do have to kill the Oxene. You know, if you do that, it just doesn't hijack, and then you're kind of SOL. More Sentinels being set up here at the Ministry at 6. He's got the same sort of setup over here. For some reason, this is the one with the Treasury instead of the Mineral only being a Treasury base, but that's okay. More workers for Jack is not really that much of a surprise. He's got those Astrolabes making Iconoclasts now. He tried to make something happen, but he just has an economic edge over the early game that I think he's, despite his unfamiliarity with the race, has been, you know, able to navigate some situations here. You can see him throwing the Oxene onto the Masons there to try to steal them. And that's pretty potent right then and there. He crushes through the Sentinels, and he's got himself some Terran tech. The response here from Fenris is going to go ahead and attack the 3 o'clock base, but the shape of Magnetron means you can't really do this, you know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do with all this? The answer is not really that much. Oh dear. If he can get his Oxenes off those, that would be one thing. They might be bugged. I haven't mass-clicked them, actually. So, yeah, 3 o'clock is gone, but... now he's going to go ahead and attack the backside. He's actually going to bring the fight to Fenris for a moment, but I don't think you can step to this army if those phalanxes get deployed. Fenris isn't paying attention. There's an opportunity for Jack to just come in from the back end and kind of catch him slipping there, but the reclamation fields are going to come out pretty soon, and that should give over a lot more of those units. Yeah, the Iconoclast coming for a moment. They just get double scrapped, though, by the insurance in the back, and actually, there's not so many of those powerful ranged units for the Askosi. Not as many as maybe I thought would happen. And so, again, the staying power of the Terran arsenal is available. He's even stolen his own insurance, which is going to be pretty spooky. So despite everything that I was thinking about here, and of course the fact that both players have a decent float, particularly Fenris, who just hasn't really built that much more, he's making his landlock. He's like, yeah, mind control, yeah. Do we have any Terran construction for... Yes, Jakulangski is making a ministry over here. Okay, so both players are going for a race swap. That's what they're doing right now. Trying to switch races in the middle of the game. We'll see how effective that actually is. Not a great army comp against the entrenched phalanx, but if you can get on top of them, that's a little bit of a different story. Now, the Endbors are available. And do we have much anti-air? I guess the Reclaimers are actually going to be the main anti-air here. And they're engaging way too late to actually help out, it feels like. Cleric's trying to heal through it, but it's a lot of damage to try to heal through, my friend. Reinforcements coming up, mostly able to shoot up, so there's some promise there. But the Endbor count is immediately 4, right? That's a lot. Still, if he can steal a few, that would be one thing. Does end up harvesting one of them, only for it to immediately be given over, and yeah, it's just kind of a wipe. And he doesn't have hardly any anti-air anyway, right? Anywhere, I should say. All right, Jack, you've got your ministry, but do you even need it? The landlock is here for Fenris. Whether he's going to use it or not is something that remains to be seen. Sentinels doing their best to clear the ground. Of course, the Envoys are still going to be a scary option. Silver Soul's providing that cloak when not in combat. Also, we give them a nice heal. The workers were peeled off a little bit to the side, but I just don't see a lot of anti-air coming. Madrigals, but not so good versus Envoys, I feel like. I guess if you get like 12 of them, you can fight the Envoys. You need a heavier stack, though. Cestus on the way. Yeah, this feels like jakulangski should have keyed into the right kinds of units here. Again, the Terran army was going to last a little bit longer than people would immediately think, but they're focused on trying to deal with both the ground and air threats, and that's just not quite what's going to allow for a victory. Goliath's getting rezzed is really important here, actually. He's even deploying the madrigals to help out against the ground, but Paracletes are going to come in and start trying to steal those madrigals. I don't quite think that's going to matter too much. Actually, when the Envoys come in to add some damage, suddenly they are stolen. Yeah, that's pretty nifty. Well, I think this is probably a wrap. Jack has found the right composition here. He's crushed Fenris's outer lying bases, and while the APM has fallen to 0 as he types out a message most likely here, but Jack's just found the right units, and Fenris has not, so I think tactically this map could have been played out a little bit better for Fenris. A big issue is the float. Jack floated way less. Obviously now it's a little bit of a different story. And it does feel like, obviously the secondary conduit, there were definitely mistakes made, let's be real, but Askosi just crack on, man. They are unkillable, question mark? Just don't look at any of the matches that Ziki played against Askosi recently. And yeah, well, all right. I think I see the way that this is going. We'll go ahead and speed through this a little bit. I think we've been here for a good amount of time, so I can just comfortably say, like, hey, thank you very much for joining us for another match of Cosmonarchy. And as the last of the bases are found, because this is not a free-for-all, you can't just do that way. We can watch Fenris get eliminated if that's how it's going to be, but Cosmonarchy appreciates you. And you can add more value to our tournaments by going for a donation link, streamlabs.com/Pronego, coffee.com/Cosmonarchy. However you want to do it, you can make it happen. GG's, we got some Askosi versus Terran. That was a pretty long game, too. So I guess the technical testing we've been doing has been coming out pretty well as well. Looking forward to casting some more games. I just picked these off of Replay Kraken typically, so glad we got to see two players trying to race swap in the middle of the game, though. That was very funny.